You might be the first one on my channel to talk about journey from a Nepal student perspective. Let's take you back in time when you were in Nepal. At some point you decided you want to do your masters. Why United States and why not other countries?
Since my childhood, you see USA in the movies like big city, a lot of opportunities. So that was engraved in my mind. So yeah, USA was the only option that I had.
The job market is extremely bad. Software engineer, data analyst, product managers, like they are struggling right now to find internship or full-time job. Is that same for industrial engineers or is it slightly better than them?
Someone who has a degree in, let's say, civil engineering or electrical engineering, I've seen my friends getting job quicker than I did.
What is the total fees for Texas State Tech University?
First semester, I remember paying around $5,000 to $6,000.
Did you end up taking loan?
When I got my internship and I started earning some money, then I thought that I should be financially independent. I should not depend on my parents.
You applied at least 1,000 jobs?
More than that. Easy.
More than that?
Yeah.
All the incoming students who are planning to come, all the Nepali students who are planning to come, or any international student, what advice would you give? Thank you, Roshan, for doing this. I am excited. But before we get started, let's do a quick intro. When, where are you from? When did you come to United States? What did you do? And then what are you doing right now?
Okay. So my name is Roshan. I came to US for my master's. Back in Nepal, I did mechanical engineering from Pulchok campus. And from at that time, I decided like everyone had some plans on what they're gonna do after their bachelor's. So for me, it was getting a master's in the US. So that's why I came to US for my master's at Texas Tech University. Um, and yeah, everything's going fine. Right now, I'm working. I graduated last year on May, and everything's been working out fine for me.
Nice. So you didn't have any work experience back in Nepal?
Yeah, I did have some work experience. I used to teach as well, and I had a little bit of industrial experience, but it was COVID during that time, so I couldn't explore it very much. But yeah, I did have some teaching and some work experience.
Okay. And then what masters did you do? Like what major?
I did my master's in industrial engineering.
Ooh, okay. So mechanical, industrial engineering. And then what are you doing right now? What is your role?
Right now, I'm working as a process engineer here in Decatur, Illinois, at a metal manufacturing company.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of closely aligns with what I did, what I studied, and like what I'm working.
Nice. And then obviously you graduated the worst time ever because it's job market is
Yeah,
brutal.
yeah,
Um, but you still survived and you still were able to get the job. And I think you said you also have internship, right? You
yeah,
had an
yeah.
internship.
True. Yeah, I had an internship, and like you said, the job market was brutal. Even while getting my internship, it was really tough because for an internship, you're not just competing with someone who just like not just competing with graduated student. You are competing with someone who is still studying. So it's very difficult to get an internship, according
Yeah.
to me, like than a full time job. So
Mm.
yeah, it was tough, but I had a clear goal. I had a goal to get that internship, get that job. So I kept trying, kept applying, and at the end, it worked out. And yeah, here I am.
Amazing. Well, we'll dive into that journey. But before we dive into it, let's take you back in time when you were in Nepal. At some point, you decided you want to do your master's. Why United States and why not other country? Or did you have other countries in plan?
Uh, to be honest, I didn't have any other countries in my plan
Mm.
because we saw our seniors and like many of them wanted to go to the US and they were going to the US. It's not like that they're not going to any other countries, but for me, the seniors that I like aspired, all of them came to the US. And since my childhood, you see USA in the movies like big city, a lot of opportunities. So that was engraved in my mind. So yeah, USA was the only option that I had. I didn't even looked at like other countries. So
Mm.
and yeah, it worked out at the end.
Amazing. Why industrial engineering and why not masters in mechanical?
So for the reason for that is the way our program was designed for in our undergrad in mechanical engineering was during the like end year end semesters, majority of focus were given to like industrial engineering subjects of industrial engineering, and that really excited me. Subjects like operational research, facilities layout, and things like that. It really intrigued me, and I also did an internship in Nepal while I was doing my undergrad.
Hmm.
It was in Barun Beverage, so that was a plant where we bottled Pepsi, Mountain Dew, and things like that. And when I did my internship there, like I really felt connected, and I felt like this is something that I want to do
Hmm.
long term. So that's why I did my master's in Brazil.
And would you say so? I know the job market is extremely bad for tech industry, like software engineer, data analyst, product managers. Like they are struggling right now to find internship or full time job. Is that same for industrial engineers, like process engineers, mechanical engineers, and all of that, or is it slightly better than them?
So what I think is we are in like middle. So someone who has a degree in let's say civil engineering or electrical engineering, I've seen my friends getting job quicker than I did. But for like you said, for computer engineering, from data science, I have some friends who still haven't had a job.
Yeah.
So I think it is kind of balanced in the middle. I'll
So it's
say it
slightly
is,
better than that, but obviously more
yeah,
better would, like, again, better than
yeah,
yours
yeah,
is like electrical
yeah.
engineering, VLSI, cybersecurity, etc.
Yeah, true. So I'll not say it's like exactly in the middle. It is tough to get a job with
Yeah.
industrial engineering too, because I have some friends who graduated at the same time I did, or who graduated like 6 months before me, and they still
Mm.
haven't found a job. So I'll say we are in that gray area, but it is difficult with the city
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you were like, US, I've seen in movies, it's my dream
Yeah.
country. I want to be there. Uh, I want to do masters in industrial engineering based on the background and research. Now comes very important part, researching the universities, because I'm assuming you didn't apply only to Texas Tech University. You applied to multiple. How many did you apply and how many admits and rejects did you get? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember I applied to five. I was accepted in all five, but
Oh, okay.
among those five, three were in Texas, and I remember one was, if I remember correctly, Arizona State, and I think the other one was Mississippi State, but other three were in Texas itself.
Okay. How did you come up with these five universities that these are the five I should apply to? And then also, what's your profile like, if you don't mind? Did you have to give GRE? Like, I'm assuming it's the same for you
Yeah,
as well,
yeah, yeah,
regardless if you're from Nepal or India.
yeah. So So the way I selected the university was first, like cost was the factor for me because I wanted to go in a university where the tuition fee was less and the ranking of the university was higher. So the reason why I applied to many of the universities in Texas itself was I found out that in Texas there's a rule that if you get a scholarship worth $500 per semester, then you
Okay.
automatically qualify for the in-state fee
Okay.
and you don't have to pay the out of state fee. So yeah, I knew that, and that's why I focused on university in Texas itself. And like in Texas, I looked for like some options, and Texas Tech, I applied to University of Houston, and I don't remember the third one that I applied to, but like the in-state fee of those universities were low, and I knew that with my background, I would get at least get 500 or 1,000 bucks per semester scholarship, and that's how I saved a lot of money in my tuition fee.
I love that you were research oriented. And also, for people who maybe don't know what is in state and out state, I'm just going to explain real quick. As an international student, again, if you think about United States, it's a very big country. There are different states in United States, right? So if from someone from California go to Texas, they have to pay something called out of state, because they're coming out of state from Texas, right? California to Texas. Same applies for international student, because they are from outside of the United States. We have to apply out of state fees, which is higher fees than in-state fees, almost, I would say, 40 to 50% higher. Would you say?
I'll say probably double as well. Like I used to pay like 4 or 5 thousand. My friends like 10, 11,000. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so almost double you would pay. So that's why his research in your case is like, okay, if I am able to get more than $500 or $1,000 in scholarship, Texas has this rule where if I get this, then I will be eligible for in-state, which means your fees will be almost half. How were you confident that you will get the scholarship?
So yeah, I was pretty confident because my background was aligned to the program that I was applying to. I had good grades, and also my TOEFL and GRE scores were good. And so I was confident that I'll get the in-state fee, out-of-state waiver. So and yeah, just you never know that you'll get it like 100%, but it's
How did you like? Did you apply before coming to United States? After coming to United States?
no. So the application process was like this. So you do not have to separately apply for the in-state fee, like out-of-state waiver. When you apply to it, they automatically consider you for that. Some student get it, some student like doesn't get it. But yeah, I was
Okay.
lucky enough that I got it.
So you were confident in your profile that when I apply for this university, I'm confident that I'll end up getting some scholarship, and so
Yeah,
that's kind of what
yeah,
your judgment was. Okay,
yeah.
got it. I know we'll talk about fees, but like you mentioned, cost was one of your main priority and factor to consider. And even though it's Texas and even though it's in state, what was the total fees for? What is the total fees for Texas Tech University?
So like I remember what I used to pay per semester. So per semester, I remember paying around $5,000 to $6,000.
And that's because you are in state
Yeah, that's in state. My friends were out of state, were paying like 10,000 or 11,000 per semester.
per semester. So for
Yeah.
I'm assuming masters is 4 semester.
Yeah. So it was poor for me because I did an internship, and even during an internship, I took an online course. So it was like 4 semester for me.
Okay, got it. Would you say that's common or is it typically 2.5?
I'd say it's either 2 or 1.5 because I've seen my friends
Oh.
graduating in like 3 semester as well.
Mm.
So I'll say the common one is 2, but some graduate in like 1.5 years, some takes to 2.5
Got it.
years. It also
So,
depends on the program because some program have require like 30 credits and some require 36. So yeah,
mm. So on an average, 40,000 would have been like a tuition fees.
yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in your case, because it's only 5,000, so you paid like 20,000, half of.
Yeah, 20,000, and on top of that, the $1,000 scholarship that I got was also deducted from that 20,000 itself. So yeah, it saved me even more money because of
So
that.
20, so that 1,000 was per month, per year, per semester.
Like 5,000 was per semester. So for my overall program, 20,000. But I also got a scholarship like $1,000 per year, so probably like 18,000.
18,000. Okay. And then I'm assuming you also had on-campus job, etc. We'll get to that part. Even though it's 18,000 still, and then you also had like initial expenses and flights and apartments and all of that. Did you end up taking loan?
Initially, I didn't because my parents said they were gonna fund my education. So initially, I didn't. But later, when I came here and when I got my internship and I started earning some money, then I thought that I should be financially independent. I should not depend on my parents for the tuition fee or any other fee. So that's when I decided I would apply for a loan, and that is what I did after I came to the US.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. Where did you get the loan from?
I got my loan from Empower Financing. So I looked at online on like as an international student what loans
Europe.
can I get because like we cannot get a lot of loan that banks provide here,
Yeah,
right?
because we don't
So
have credit history yet.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So what I did was I just on Google I typed like student loan, education loan for international student, and Empower Financing popped up there. I didn't know about Empower Financing before that. So
Mm.
and then I looked there and what are the criteria and everything. And yeah, everything didn't need any collateral or anything. And
Yeah,
so that was the best thing for me. And also, next best thing was if I wanted to pay my loan earlier, then I could pay that without paying any extra charges. So yeah,
correct. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, again, I've partnered with Empower for long time now, so I like there are no co-signer, no collateral,
yeah,
purely based on your what university you go to and your skill and your profile, and then yeah, no prepayment penalty as well. And I also love that they also help you with visa support and all of the other things.
yeah,
But
yeah,
okay, so back to in first place, you did not take loan, you still had some scholarship, you got chose Texas Tech University. Now the biggest hurdle for everybody is F1 visa.
yeah,
So
true.
how is it for Nepali students? Is it so? In again, I'll tell you this because I've talked to like other countries as well, and for some of them, it's like 10-minute interview. For India, it's like maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute. I don't
Yeah.
know. How is it for Nepal? Is it like longer? Is it shorter or medium?
So it depends on like person to person. So based on my experience, personally for me, it was pretty short. I went there and handed him my documents, and he asked for my transcript. So once he saw my transcript, like my percentage, my aggregate, he was like, "Oh, you like immediately said, oh, you have a very good percentage. You should be proud of yourself." And I felt like, oh, I was so much stress. You saying that like reduced my stress so much. After that, I think he only asked one question, like, why this university? And while I was answering that, he took out the green slip and gave it to me. So
Mm.
yeah, my experience was smooth, but I have had friends who they like interviewed for 10, 15 minutes. They're like asking questions and like again and again. And
10,
so
15 minutes
yeah,
for
10,
F1
15 minutes.
interview.
Yeah,
Oh,
we went there at the same time. I was at one counter, she was at another. I got my green slip. I like came outside and I'm waiting. It's 10 minutes, 15 minutes. She finally came in. So yeah,
did she got approval or no?
no, she didn't.
Oh
So
no.
I couldn't be too much happy for my visa approval because my friend she didn't get it. So I was kind of like
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
You know
not
what
so
they asked
happy.
so much?
Sorry.
Do you know what they asked her so much?
I think they asked about like why this university, who's gonna fund basic questions, but they're like keep on asking because yeah,
Investigating more and more.
yeah, more
Mhm.
and more.
Yeah. So I think in your case, again, I could be wrong, but in your case, your overall profile is strong. So if all the Nepali students are watching, hello, make sure that your profile is strong, because
Yeah,
I feel like if your profile is strong, then you come across like a lot more genuine student in a way.
yeah, yeah,
So
true.
so obviously you got your visa done and you were happy but sad but really happy. uh, when did you start looking for your apartments, because that is probably another thing that you would have to take care of before you fly, unless you chose to do apartments after flying to United States.
So I applied for my apartment before I came to the US. So I figured everything out before I came to the US because I had a lot of time. I gave my interview on May 5th or 6th, if I remember
Oh
correctly, and
wow.
I came to the US like end of July. So I had like plenty of time to decide for my apartment, decide for any other thing that I may need. So yeah, I did that before I came to the US.
Amazing. And I'm assuming roommates as well.
So the apartment that I applied to, yeah, they had roommates, but it was like individual lease. So I was only responsible for my
Acha, you didn't have
rent.
to find out roommate and all of
No,
that. Okay,
no, no,
very nice.
no, I
Okay,
didn't.
that's good.
So yeah,
What's the cost of living? And what city is it?
it was in Lubbock, Texas.
Okay.
So the cost of living was pretty much like cheaper than other places, like normal rates. So I remember it was around like 500 or 600 rent, and I think including utilities and everything. So it was not that expensive.
For your
But
personal bedroom?
Yeah, so it was my bedroom. So I had my personal bedroom, my personal bathroom. The only thing that I had to share was the kitchen and the
Kitchen
living
and
room.
living room. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
500. And that also 500 to 600 also includes the utilities, which means
yeah,
internet,
yeah,
gas,
and
water.
yeah, and the apartment was furnished. That was the reason I selected that apartment because I didn't have to. I
Wow.
knew that if I came into like any other apartment, they usually don't have anything, so you have to buy
Mm,
everything like your bed, chairs, and
yeah.
everything. So
I'm
yeah,
sure people are gonna, after watching this, is like, Roshan, what apartment was this?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what was it?
So yeah, so Lubbock, Texas is a college town. So at that place, there were like many apartments which were
Mm,
like this, by the way, like furnished apartment designed for students because
mm,
they knew that you come in here, you have to buy the furniture and everything. So they knew that if we offer an apartment that was furnished, then student will come in here. So there
mm.
were like a lot of apartments in there like that.
No, so sorry, which apartment was yours? Do you remember the name?
Raiders Pass, if I,
Okay.
yeah, Raiders Pass for the name of my apartment.
Amazing. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm like trying to recall all of your
No, that's
memories.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, yeah, I had some pleasant time in there, so good memories in there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Apartment done, shopping done. I'm assuming you did a lot of
Yeah,
shopping,
yeah, true.
packing. You probably watched my video about the packing. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
did.
did. I did. I did. I did. I did. I watched what to bring and what not to bring, so I
Yeah,
was both of those.
nice.
And yeah.
Okay. And where, like from Nepal, like how the flight thing works? Like, where did you take the flight from? And if you remember, what flight was it? And then where is the layover? And where was your first port of entry?
So for me, luckily I had someone who used to work in like travel agencies, so they got my ticket pretty quickly.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think no, not I think Turkish airline was the airline that I came in. So my
Yeah.
layover was in Istanbul, Turkey,
Ooh,
from
that.
Kathmandu to Istanbul and to Houston, Texas. So, and the layover time was like 1.5 hours. So I had to run in that airport. And if you've ever been to that airport, like
Yeah, yeah. I've been in.
wherever you land, you have to come at the central and then go again. So
Yeah,
yeah, I was like running.
yeah. And how was so Houston was your first port of entry?
Yeah, yeah. Houston was my first port of entry. I came in there because I had a friend who lived there, like an elder brother,
Yeah.
and he said, "You can come in here, and I can drive you like 10 hours to Lubbock, Texas, because from Houston to Texas it was 10 hours." So he was like, "You come in here, I'll get you all the things that you need, like your SIM card and create a bank account and get my first credit card, debit card, things like that." So he really helped me with that. So he said, "Come in here, we'll figure everything out. You stay there for a week, here for a week, and then I'll take you from here to Lubbock, Texas." So yeah,
So you drove for 10 hours.
yeah, yeah. We drove for
Yeah.
10 hours, and I've driven that route a couple of times because I got my internship in Houston itself. So
Oh, yeah.
I was in Lubbock, no driving experience. I got my internship, got my car. I had my license, like I got my license 2 or 3 months ago with the help of my friend. And then I got a car because I got an internship. And it was like 3 days after that, I drove from Lubbock to Houston. And I was like so scared when I
Mm.
reached Houston because of the traffic and everything. There were like 6-lane road. And I still remember that day. I was like so scared. I was like,
Yeah.
did I do something wrong by doing this? So I was like
Mm,
praying to God, please, not today, not today. So
mm,
yeah, at the end, it turned out to be really good.
mm. Nice. Um, Anything crazy happened in the port of entry? Did they ask you anything?
No, no, it was pretty simple. So I stood in a line, some
Yeah.
basic question like
Right.
why this university.
Mm.
Yeah. So what I had a perception that if you come to the US, they check your luggage and everything. So I came in there. He like stamped on my passport and said like, "Let's go get a luggage." So I got my luggage, and like I was exiting out, and like there was an exit door, and no one like stopped me or anything. So I was like, "Is something wrong?" So I actually stopped a police officer. "Hey, are you not supposed to check my bag?" And he's like, "Do you have something in your bag?" I was like, "No, no, I just curious. I thought you check every luggage in here." So it's like, "No, just go." And then so yeah.
That is funny. Yeah, people typically don't want their bag to be checked, but you're like,
Yeah.
check my bag.
Yeah, I was like, is something wrong? Like, I thought you were gonna check my bag, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Any culture shocks? Obviously, first time. I know you probably know a lot about United States through videos and all of it, but was there anything that you had in mind that this is how the United States is going to be, but then when you landed, you came out and you first week went by and I was like, this is so different than what I thought. Did you have any shocks?
The first shock was I saw like sun at 7:30 p.m. So I was like, what? And in Houston, if it is like humid and hot,
Yeah.
and at 2 a.m. it was like so hot. I'd never experienced like a temperature like that ever.
Mm,
So like temperature was a shock. And apart from that, when you walk on the road, usually in Nepal you see people there, right? So I
mm,
walked from my apartment to the bank. It was
mm,
like 5 minutes walk, and I didn't see any single person on the road, just like car passing by. I was
mm, mm.
like, what is this? And but yeah, I think other than that, I pretty much knew like the culture in the US through videos and everything. So, but yeah, I think other than that, when I initially used to take like bus, I was just like wait on the wrong side of the road, because in Nepal you drive on the left side, here you drive on the right side. So I used to wait on the other side of the road for the bus. It used to come at the other side, so I used to run away, like go to the opposite end and take the bus. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know about how things are in Nepal, but for me, the one of the big shock was how everybody just stops if you are wanting to cross the road.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's surprising. Like I in Nepal, if there's so you as a person have to be careful that or you have to watch both. Even if it's one way, you have to watch both sides because you don't know. Even in one way, vehicle
Yeah.
might be coming from the other way. But in here, if you are taking that crossing the road, everything stops for you. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was really nice. And one other thing, even when you're walking and there are some stranger, they just say, "Hey, how are you?" Like look in your eye, and I was like, "Do they know me?" But yeah, that's something different for me.
Right. Yeah. Same. For me also. Those in the even in the elevator. If I go to elevator,
Yeah,
first of all, we
yeah,
call it lift, but they call it
yeah,
elevator, and so they would be like, "How's it going?" or "Good morning," and I'm like, "What? I don't know
yeah,
this person."
yeah. True, true. Yeah,
So fun times. Okay, and on-campus jobs. So obviously, we talked about you had a scholarship. You didn't do anything special other than applying it. Your
yeah.
profile was strong enough. You got a scholarship, because of which you had in-state tuition fees. But then cost of living, you said 500 to 600 is for rent, utilities. Would you say another two, 300s for
Groceries. Yeah,
so roughly 800 is 800 to 900 would be total cost of living monthly expenses.
yeah, yeah. True.
Okay. That probably you will have to cover. I'm assuming you were hoping that you can do on campus job and cover that. Did you have on campus job?
Yeah, yeah, I did. So I was lucky enough that after I came in, my department like sent an email about they're looking for like a graduate assistant in the department. So I applied, and like they asked a bunch of questions in the application like what is your background and things like that. And I think they liked my profile, so I was selected for a graduate assistant role. So I got an on-campus job. The thing was, it was for like 15 hours. So as an international student, you can work like 20 hours a week.
Mm.
So I worked another 5 hour in a different place in campus, like in a football stadium. During games, we had like consistent stand. So I used to work there sometime too. So, but making sure that my total hours were less than 20.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously, like something is really good about your profile. I have to take a deeper look into your profile because you're getting scholarship, all the admits, no rejects, visa also done in 30 seconds or so, and
Yeah.
you're getting graduate assistantship. Something is special about your profile. Plus, you got
Yeah.
internship and a full time job.
Yeah. True. I think, yeah, God has blessed me enough.
Uh,
So,
he did.
yeah.
That is
Yeah, he
amazing.
did.
So, what do you do as a graduate assistant?
So we used to work for a professor, like his assistant. So like grading papers, grading exams,
Mm.
sometime conducting labs, and sometime
Which
classes
students
too.
come to
But
you and say like, "Hey, increase my grade"?
yeah, yeah, they did a lot of time. So I used to post grade. They used to send an email or come by saying, "Hey, why did I get this less?" And yeah, they used to do that a lot of times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. Okay. And then interview process was simple. Was there an interview or was it just purely
No, no, there was no an interview. It was just purely based on my profile.
okay? Got it. Tell me a little bit more about Texas Tech. Is it? Are there a lot of international students?
Yeah, there are like mainly from India itself and particularly from South India.
Mm.
So like many students from South India and also a student from Nepal, China and other countries. So yeah, they have a lot of international students. One shock for me was I think you also face the same thing. So I thought like I'm coming to the US for my master's, so there will be a lot of like Americans in my class. So I went there, and there was like during the orientation, like we all had a new admit in our class, and everyone was like introducing themselves. I think 80% were saying, "I'm from India. I love cricket," and I was the only one from Nepal. I'm from Nepal. There like one from Bangladesh, I think one from Pakistan, one or two from South America somewhere. I think if I remember, just one was from the US. So
Yeah.
they're shocking.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends in university. Chico State, I did my master's from Chico State, and we did have a lot of Americans. I would say it was 50-50, so it wasn't like yours. But that is normal for a lot of universities.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the batch size? Like, what would you say in industrial engineering? What was your batch size?
So I think it was around like 30, 35. So what they did was like if you applied and if your profile was strong enough and you were selected for like masters in industrial engineering, but if your profile was approved from the graduate school but not from the department itself, you will get admitted as masters in engineering, like normal masters. And so I think for masters in industrial engineering, like 30 or 35, something like that for masters. Like they're like PhD and undergraduate as well. But for
Okay.
masters, it was around like 30, 35.
And is it easy to get into classes that you want to like, or is there a battle like, oh, if I don't enroll this time, then I'm gonna miss out on it?
Yeah, it depends on the classes. Like we had like three or four like core classes. So if you wanted to get a master's in industrial engineering, you had to take that five courses. But like five were electives. So for that core courses, yes,
Hmm.
because some courses were only offered like once a year,
Yeah,
and so you have to have that course, like you need to do that course to graduate. So because of that, like I'm not say I didn't get what I wanted, but it can be tricky sometimes.
yeah, yeah. Got it. Okay. I'm trying to understand the on-campus job market. Does everybody end up getting a on-campus job?
Everybody, but many of them do. They might not get in the department itself, or they might not get a job that they want, but there are like many opportunities, like in canteen. We used to have big stadium like football and basketball stadium. So whenever there used to be a game, there were a lot of opening at that time.
Mm.
So you have to be really like be on
Right.
top and yeah, proactive and look for reach out to your seniors, reach out to professor, and I think, but it's not like 100% guarantee. You might
Mm,
not get it. I've had friends who didn't get any on campus job.
mm.
So yeah,
I was gonna say, is there like, did you face Big Boss drama? But then I forgot, like, you're not from India. Do you know what Big Boss is?
I know what Big Boss is. I've not watched it. I've seen like clips. I've seen people
Yeah.
like fighting and
So, did you
like
face that in your batch? Like, there was a groupism and politics and drama.
not politics, because many of us, like our primary, we're international students, so we have that fear in our mind that we have to get good grades. And also the scholarship that I talked about, I had to maintain a certain GPA for that scholarship to carry to next semester. So that
Mm,
was all in my mind. There was not any groupism or anything. Uh, Obviously, like if you are from a certain culture, you tend to have friends from that group itself.
Yeah.
So for me, I had a lot of like North Indian friends, friends from Nepal. I
Mm,
also had some South Indian friends, but like yeah, there were some like groupism in a way, but nothing major.
mm. What's the on-campus job rate? Like what's the salary, typical salary you get?
So it depends on like where you get it. So at the library, it was lowest, like I think 8 or 8.5.
Mm,
But in some department, like I remember electrical engineering department, it was like 15 per hour. For my
mm.
department, it was 12 or 13, something like that. So it like used to depend on where to get that job.
Got it. So I'm assuming your on-campus job does help in covering at least
Yeah,
80 to 80, 90% of your cost of
yeah,
living.
yeah, true. It depends on like how your lifestyle is too. So
Yeah.
if you like to eat out, if you like to go out, party and everything, it's going to be higher. If you can sustain in that budget, I mean, you can. So I'm like mixed up both. So I
Mm,
don't, for me, it was like, I want to have fun too, but I also want to take care of my budget. So
mhm.
it used to cover some, and like I said, some like my parents used to support me initially, so it was like even for me.
At what point did you decide that, okay, it's time for me to like take a loan? I know you said that was after your internship. So after 2 semester, you are like, I can actually take a loan. Is that?
Yeah, yeah, true. So what happened was after 2 semester, I got an internship, and I remember after I got my first paycheck, I was like, I thought I had to be like I can do it. Like before that, I didn't have that confidence. So that was a turning point for me. It's like I can earn for myself now. So I should be confident enough to get a loan and sustain like by myself. So
What was
that
that
was the
feeling?
point. Is
That must be amazing feeling to tell your
yeah,
parents that,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
don't worry, I don't
true,
need money
true.
anymore. I
Yeah,
got this on my own.
yeah, that's absolutely true. So I always like, even in my first and second semester, I used to think at what time, like when would that time come when I'll call my father and say, hey, you don't need to send me any money. I'm good by myself. So yeah, I always had that feeling like, but the moment I got my first paycheck, I was like, I'm gonna call my father now and tell him,
Did
you
they
don't
say,
need to
are
send
you
me any.
okay? Like, why are you saying that?
the, they were happy. I told them that I got an internship, and they're really happy because of that. And I told them, and I still remember that was one of the happiest moments in my life. The day I called my father and said, "I can take care of my finances now."
Nice. Love it. Okay. Internship. How did you end up getting? When did you apply? What was the role?
So I knew that I could only work as an intern after 2 semesters.
Yeah.
So I started looking after the first semester ended itself.
Mm,
So like started looking from like January in 2023,
mm.
and I knew that, and I was applying to it, but I was
This
not
is
getting
January
any.
2024. Again, for people who might be watching this later, it was a very, very bad market.
Yeah, January 2023.
Three. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Still
2023.
bad market.
Yeah, still bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
still bad.
Okay.
So I applied to many jobs, but I didn't like always used to get rejection, and I was like, "What am I doing
Can
wrong?"
we step back? So, how did you know that these are the roles I want? What were these roles, and how did you decide that? Did you have the clarity in the first place that, okay, I'm in my career, I'm going to go to these three roles?
Yeah, yeah. So what I had was based on my education background, based on my work experience. I knew that I wanted to work in a manufacturing company, in a production company, and I knew that for me, the role like process engineering, industrial engineering, manufacturing engineering. So I was looking for that kind of roles. So in that way, I was clear that what I wanted to do. But like I said, initially I was getting a lot of rejection, and I didn't know what I was doing that didn't add up. But so what I found out was my resume. I had to work on that, make it very good, make it ATS friendly,
Mm,
because recruiter, they get a lot of resume, like many people, like thousands of people apply, and they cannot look at every resume. So there's like filtration process called ATS, in which based on the keywords in your resume, it gets selected and sent to like a person who sees that resume. So yeah, I worked on my resume and got some interview, but one of the major drawback was the thing that I was pushing for was making my resume too good, but I was not. At the same time, I had to work on my interview skill as well. I didn't do that. I didn't know. I thought I'll just apply and apply and apply. I'll get an interview. It'll be easy to talk and everything. So I thought that that was a mistake that I made. And after like a couple of interviews, I kind of like bombed those interviews. It was like too bad. So
Well, like
then,
when you say bomb, like what do you mean? Maybe
so
for
I was
people, I know because I'm a hiring manager. I
yeah.
interview people, so but for people who don't know,
So like I thought it would be a like normal conversation, like interview. They just ask you about your experience. I thought I had a degree in mechanical engineering. I had some work experience. I'm doing my master's. So I thought my profile was like strong enough to get a job. But the thing is, you need to sell yourself to other people. You should be like confident to tell your story and in such a way that they believe that you can do you can succeed in that role. So initially it was like really bad. I used to like mumming, like, and thinking about, oh, and like sometimes being blank, like
like
what should I
yeah,
say? Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Mm.
and from that I knew that I had to work on my interview skill. And yeah,
So
luckily at
what
the
did you
end.
do to prepare for your interview skills? Like, how did you prepare for it?
So what I used to do is I used to record myself, hear myself, like what at what time I am saying something wrong, and then what I did was also created a structure on this is the thing that I'll start with. If that person asks this, I'll say this. So I kind of created a structure. So I'll not just like show up in interviews like hey and just like follow their lead. This time I was the one giving them the lead. So I was telling my story, and they asked question based on my story, and I was already prepared for that. So yeah, that really helped.
Okay. And so for your internship that you did end up getting it, was that applied through online only, or did you do networking or anything like that?
Oh no, I it was like it's applied online, but the thing is, I did a little bit of networking. I did reach out to other engineers working in that company, and
Oh.
actually, she was the one who said he's my boss. He's the like hiring manager. It was so nice of her. Her name is Anusa Balani. Shout out to her. And she said, "This is your manager. You can talk to him." And I sent him an email. I sent him a LinkedIn request. No response. But I got an uh,
Interview call.
interview. And I would like while interviewing at the end, what I told him was, "Hey, by the way, I sent you a message. Anusa actually told me that you were the hiring manager for this role." It's like, oh, okay. So it was just that conversation. But
Mm.
what I found out later, after I joined the company, and at the time when I was leaving, was he told me, you know, you got the job because you told me you knew her. And I was like, thank God I
Oh,
said that thing at the end. So yeah, networking is really important.
powerful.
Even now, when I'm working now, if someone recommends me a name, someone who I know, someone who I can trust, then I'll be more serious about that person. So
Mm.
if there are two candidates who are like equally good, I'll prefer the
The
candidate that I
one that,
know or
yeah.
that some of my colleague recommended.
Yeah, you know what you're just doing, right? Like now people are gonna be like, "Hey, Roshan works for this." So
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
gonna use your name, and hopefully they'll reach out to you for referrals as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Amazing. Anything different you did for the so internship? You probably are like, okay, this is great. I am settled. I'm gonna convert this into full time, and life is good. But I'm assuming that's how it didn't go. Uh, how because of the internship, how did things change for your full time? Like, how? different was it? Was it harder? Was it easier? What's the struggle? Because again, now you are talking about fall. I mean, you are in 2023. You probably in August, September. When did you start for your full time job?
So actually, I joined my internship in I think July or August 2023
Mm.
during summer. And initially, the internship was just for like a month, 1.5 month. But after I joined there, my manager liked me and he extended it until December. So I worked there for like 6 or 7 months.
So you
So
could do that and your semester.
yeah, yeah. So during that time, I took one online course, one during summer, one during fall, and that is so that I wanted to at my last semester. I knew that I could only take one course. Usually, during like for a second, third semester, you have to take 9 credits minimum. But I knew that the semester that you are graduating, you can take less than that. So
Mm.
I because I knew that I had to look for a job at that semester, like full time job. So I just kept one subject at that time.
Mm.
So December was when I finished my internship. I came back to university for my last semester. That was 2024 January, and I
Mm.
graduated in May.
And so you started your full time in January 2024.
No, no, no. So what happened was the company that I was doing my internship, I wanted to work there. Even my manager wanted me to work there. But what happened was, I still remember the date so clearly. My last day was December 22nd, and on December 8th, my company split into two. And
Mm.
because of that, a certain production unit had to be shut down, and because of that, there was no opening for me. So because of that, I couldn't work there full time. So I was like so stressed at that time. Now I was hoping I would work there at this company after I graduate, but now I have to look for a job. So the good thing that I did was I only kept one course at my last semester, so I knew I had plenty of time to apply for a full time role. So I came back. I was applying to job, and like you said, the job market was really bad.
Mm.
Like I used to get rejection like that. Like you apply, you get rejection. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah. My stress level was like growing and growing. But what I decided was I can only in my hand I can only apply to a job and prepare myself for an interview. There's nothing more that I can do.
Mm.
So I just focus on that. I used to keep a whiteboard beside. I used to go to the library and apply for a job. By the way,
Mm.
so for me, I cannot work and eat at the same place. So for me, a relaxing my room was my relaxing place, and my
Mm.
library was my workplace. So
Yeah.
even in the day I didn't have my class, I used to wake up, get ready, take my backpack, go to the library, and apply job like it was a full time job. So I used to be there at 8, leave at 4 or 5 p.m.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, that was a
Wow.
schedule during my last semester.
How many jobs did you end up applying and how did you get your interview? I'm assuming this is a company you're working for.
Yeah. So I honestly I don't even remember how much I applied. I used to keep a whiteboard beside me and I used to write one, two, three, like how many jobs I applied per day. Sometimes that board used to reach 50, sometimes 40. So yeah, it sounds crazy, but that is what I did. I knew that the only thing that I could do was apply and prepare.
You focused on quantity and application, like, okay, morning to
Yeah.
evening, that's all I'm going to do. You only have one class, so
Yeah.
let's just go all in.
Yeah. And not just on quantity, I was also focused on the quality of my application. So, what I used to do is, initially, what I did was, if I was applying to a role, I used to go on LinkedIn and look for who are the people working at that company. I used to message them and try to find out something like 90%, 95% of them didn't used to reply, and very few replied. So, and what I did was I used to add the keywords to my application. So my every resume was different because I used to. There's a website called JobScan or something. I remember
Mm-hmm.
I took a premium subscription of that.
Mm.
And so if you put a job description and a resume, it tells you what keywords are missing, so that I used to include that and apply. So it was quantity true, but it was quality too.
Quality as well. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the final interview for the company that you're working for, was it through online or was it through networking?
It was like online. I previously I gave a couple of interviews. Some of them were good, some of them were bad. But I knew that my interview skill was improving, and I came close like two or three times. I remember the recruiter told me at one company I really wanted to work there, and at the end the recruiter said we hired someone else. And I was like, can you tell me what I did wrong or something that I can improve on? It's like, no, you're really good. Actually, you reached top two. The other candidate was a U.S. citizen who didn't require like H-1B or other sponsorship, and even that we liked you, the company wasn't ready for that. So yeah, there were like couple of times in which they really liked me, but because I was an international student, I only had like 3 years OPT and required like sponsorship after that. Then yeah, that was difficult.
Wow,
But
that is the real struggle of
yeah, true,
international students.
true, true. That
Would you
is true.
agree?
Yeah, yeah. Because every application I remember, there used to be a question: Will you now or in future require sponsorship? And I was like, but every application, and that is something that used to stress me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Eh, we should probably do like another follow-up session on process engineer and what it is, and the interview process and etc. So I'll not get into this because today is more focused on your journey from Nepal to you living the dream,
Yeah.
in a way. So yeah, you when did you do you remember roughly, would you said like 10, 20, 30 jobs you were applying starting January. When was the interview call? Like, when did you get the offer?
So for this job, it was pretty late. Like it was during summer, if I remember correctly, like August or something. That was
Hmm.
the time.
You
So
had graduated.
yeah, I had graduated and I was like giving interviews. I was waiting for a response from some of the companies, but yeah, it was pretty end. So my EAD was already approved, and
Hmm.
and luckily I got it at the correct time.
Hmm. Okay. So, would you say you applied at least 1,000 jobs?
More than that,
More
easily.
than that.
Yeah.
Oh wow! And
Yeah.
how many interviews would you say you got?
Like so, usually the way the interview works is HR would call you initially
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
like schedule an interview or like initial screening. So that I probably got around like 30 or 40, and interview with the actual hiring manager probably I'll say 10.
Okay.
And then yeah, this was the job that I was finally offered.
Wow. So I'm assuming at this point 1,500 jobs. Maybe you did less,
Yeah,
slightly, maybe on an average 1,500 jobs,
yeah,
out of which 30, 40 screening interview. And assuming at the screening they're like, oh, this is an international student, needs visa,
yeah. True,
cut
true.
it out.
Yeah, yeah,
Ended up getting 10 moving forward to the next round, and then
yeah,
finally one offer.
yeah, yeah. One
Wow.
offer, you can say two. I kind of also got one, but yeah, you can say one. I'll
Okay.
stick with one.
What a struggle, what a journey.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you feel once you signed the offer and you're like,
I was really happy. I
mm,
still remember that day. So what happened was I interviewed and I had they called me on site for an on-site interview as well. I came here, I returned back, and I was just waiting for the response, and I was like, this can be today. So I was like continuously manifesting. So I still remember my birthday was on September 7th, and I was like, I will get a job before that day. And I was like, keep on saying that. And I finally got it. And it was like such a relaxing time. It's like a
yeah,
burden came down from my head. And yeah, that was the most like happiest day of my life. I can say that.
yeah, that's amazing. And it's been what, like a year now that you've been working, or like 7, 8 months?
Yeah, something like that, like 6, 7 months.
Have you paid off the loan?
Not entirely, no.
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 Okay.
So,
But you're probably
uh,
close.
yeah, yeah, I'm close. So the reason for that was I got a car that was slightly expensive, and I got a new
Of
one, and I
course.
got it during my internship, and I was like, yes, I still have
What
to pay
car
off
did you
that.
buy?
Mazda CX-50.
Okay, amazing.
So
That's
so
nice. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a nice car. Yeah.
so yeah. So yeah, I still have some payments for my car
Yeah.
left.
So you have car payment and loan payment, and then you have
Yeah,
rent,
car payment.
and,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Cool, amazing. This has been a great, great journey. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing it. It's been super valuable. If like now that you spent 2 years in masters, almost a year now working, if you were to go back in time, what advice would you give to all the incoming students who are planning to come, all the Nepali students who are planning to come, or any international student? What advice would you give?
So the advice I'll give them is like education. We only tend to focus on education, like study hard, get good grades. But the equally important thing is your communication. We
Mm,
don't focus on that much. We only focus on getting good grades, and this should be fine. And that was the mistake that I made. And still now, my communication is not up to that mark, and I'm still working. And so that is something that I'll advise everyone to focus on, not just
mm,
your education, but your communication skill, the way you speak, the way you present yourself. That is really important because at the end of the day, it is you and the manager talking. It is you versus the recruiter talking, and how comfortable are you expressing yourself. You
mm,
can be like brilliant, you can know a lot of things, but if you cannot express that, if you cannot show that confidence in you, then they'll not hire you.
mm. I
So
love
yeah,
that.
that is something that I'll recommend everyone to work on, and that is so important. You think that it's not you get a good grade, you have good score, really good. Trust me, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
You
not.
said you're working on it. When you say working on it, what do you do to improve your communication skill?
So what I do is like I said, like use some app, record my video, and try to find out where I'm struggling. As
Mm,
an international student, as a like being English is not my first language, so there are some like words or something that I say incorrectly, and other person finds it difficult to understand it.
understand. Yeah.
And like there are like many things. One of my friend, she was actually from India, she did mention it to me that I didn't know that the way I pronounce sa and so like s and sh, I
Yeah.
say the same. So like sit and sit, one is shit, one is sit, but I say the both thing like
Oh,
like.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, things like that are something that I'm like working on, like still working on. I know I have a long way to go, but like step
No,
by step, I
you're
think.
great. I mean, you're a great. I mean, you were able to express your story and
Yeah,
communicate. So please don't underestimate yourself and don't undersell yourself. You are good, even though English is not your first language. I mean,
yeah,
ask any Americans to talk in Nepali or Hindi, like they would not
yeah. Obviously,
struggle
yeah,
too, right?
true.
So
Yeah,
it's
true.
okay. So I don't underestimate yourself, but yes, I like the approach that I'm still improving and I'm going to continue to improve. I'm going to continue to put myself out there, not be in the comfort zone, and love it. I love the advice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. I know it was supposed to be like a shorter version, but as you know me, I like to go in details. And I wish I had more time. I could keep going more and more, but we will do a separate video on maybe industrial engineering and the career in industrial engineering and all kinds of stuff. But again, Roshan, thank you so much. I will bring you back, but until our next one.
Keep smiling, keep hustling.